You are the master of your fate. Let's begin. From the moment you begin to strive for anything significant, society whispers a lie into your ear. Failure is the enemy. You're taught to avoid it, to dread it, to see it as a mark of incompetence or a definitive end to your ambitions. This fear embeds itself deep within your mind, paralyzing action, crushing ambition, and keeping countless individuals from ever truly testing the limits of their potential. You see someone stumble, a business collapse, a project fall apart, and the immediate, almost instinctual reaction is to label it as failure, a final, irreversible defeat. And because of this widespread destructive belief, millions live small lives, never daring to pursue their definite chief aim, all to avoid the sting of what they perceive as ultimate downfall. But I tell you, this is the most profound and damaging illusion that stands between you and your greatest triumphs. I studied the lives of the most successful individuals this world has ever known. Men like Andrew Carnegie, Thomas Edison, Henry Ford. Did their paths gleam with uninterrupted success? Were their journeys free of missteps, setbacks, and what most would call failures? Absolutely not. Carnegie endured massive financial risks and the constant threat of industrial collapse. Edison famously conducted thousands of failures before perfecting the light bulb. He didn't see them as failures. He saw them as discoveries of what didn't work. Ford's early ventures faced bankruptcy and public ridicule before the Model T revolutionized transportation. They did not fear failure. They understood it. They engaged with it. They leveraged it. They recognized that what others called a dead end was, in truth, merely a detour, a lesson, or an unrefined opportunity. Failure is not a destination. It is a data point. It is not defeat. It is feedback. The universal lie teaches you to avoid the uncomfortable sensation of not succeeding immediately. But the truth, the strategic truth, is that every single failure contains a seed of equivalent or greater advantage if you know how to find it. It carries vital information. It points to a path you should not take or to a detail you must refine. This fear of failure keeps you from taking necessary risks, from learning critical lessons only experience can teach, from building the resilience required for truly great achievements. In the following sections, I will strip away this illusion. I will give you 5 clear, actionable rules that will change your relationship with setbacks forever. You will learn to dissect every failure, extract its inherent wisdom, and transmute it into the fuel for your biggest, most undeniable wins. Stop fearing failure. Start learning to master it, and you will become unstoppable. You've accepted that failure is not the end. Now, the very first, most critical step in transforming it into a win is to apply the emotional detachment principle. When a setback occurs, a project collapses, a deal falls through, a venture fails, your immediate natural human reaction is often a surge of powerful emotions. Disappointment, frustration, anger, fear, even shame. These emotions are potent. They are also, in that moment, your greatest enemy. While emotions are a part of the human experience, they are terrible masters of analysis. When you are engulfed by the sting of a perceived failure, your mind is clouded. You cannot see clearly. You cannot think logically. You cannot dissect the event for its valuable lessons. Instead, you're likely to blame others. It was their fault, not mine. Blame yourself excessively. I'm a complete failure. I can never succeed. Rationalize. It was just bad luck, nothing I could do. Avoid. Bury your head in the sand and refuse to look at what happened. None of these reactions lead to growth or transformation. They perpetuate the cycle of missed opportunity. The emotional detachment principle demands that you consciously, deliberately create a mental distance between yourself and the raw emotion of the setback. It's not about suppressing your feelings. It's about postponing their dominance until you've extracted the lessons. Here is how you apply it. 1. Acknowledge, then compartmentalize. Allow yourself a brief moment to feel the emotion. Say to yourself, okay, I feel frustrated. That's natural. Then consciously tell yourself, I will deal with this emotion later. Right now, my job is to learn. Mentally place the emotion aside into a temporary mental compartment. 2. Shift to observer mode. Imagine you are an objective third-party observer, analyzing a case study. Your goal is not to judge, but to understand the facts, the sequence of events, and the causal links. Ask yourself, what actually happened? What were the inputs? What were the outputs? Remove the I from the equation for a moment and focus solely on the process. 3. Focus on data, not drama. Resist the urge to tell a dramatic story about the failure. Instead, gather facts. What decisions were made? What actions were taken? What were the specific results? This is about collecting evidence, not reinforcing a narrative of personal defeat. 4. Practice the pre-mortem mindset. Before you even start a new venture, imagine it has already failed. Ask, if this were to fail, what would be the most likely reasons? This exercises your mind in objective analysis before emotions are involved, making it easier to apply after a real setback. You cannot change what you cannot clearly see, and you cannot clearly see through a fog of overwhelming emotion. The titans of industry I studied understood this implicitly. They faced monumental losses that would have crushed lesser individuals, but their strength lay in their ability to step back, to coolly analyze the wreckage, and to extract the precise lessons needed for their next, ultimately successful, move. They understood that every failure was a tuition payment for an invaluable lesson, and you don't get your money's worth if you're too busy crying over the bill. Mastering this principle is the first crack in the illusion of failure. It creates the mental space required to move from reaction to strategy. You've mastered emotional detachment. The sting of the setback has receded, allowing you a clear view. Now it's time for the second crucial rule, the forensic failure audit. Most people, when faced with a failure, simply turn away from it. They bury the memory, hoping it will somehow disappear. Or worse, they skim the surface, drawing superficial conclusions like, I wasn't good enough, or the market wasn't ready. This is like trying to fix a complex machine by glancing at it once and then giving up. True transformation doesn't come from avoiding the pain, but from dissecting it for every ounce of wisdom. A forensic failure audit is a systematic, objective investigation of exactly what happened. It's about treating your setback not as a personal indictment, but as a rich source of data, a detailed report from the field of experience. You are the detective, and the failure is your case. Here's how to conduct your audit. 1. Map the timeline. Start from the very beginning of the venture or project. List every significant decision, action, and external event in chronological order leading up to the setback. What was the initial intention? What resources were committed? Who was involved? What assumptions were made? 2. Identify the what. Precisely what went wrong. Don't generalize. Was it a specific step, a particular strategy, a critical assumption that proved false? For instance, if a business failed, was it the product, the marketing, the sales process, the pricing, the team, the timing, or something else entirely? Be granular. 3. Uncover the why. For each what, dig deeper into the why. Why did that specific thing go wrong? What were the underlying causes? Was it a lack of information, a misjudgment, poor execution, unforeseen external circumstances, a skill gap, a communication breakdown? This step often requires brutal honesty with yourself. 4. Differentiate controllable versus uncontrollable factors. List everything that contributed. Then draw a line. Which factors were within your influence or control? Which were truly external and unavoidable? Focus your learning primarily on the controllable factors. These are your levers for future success. While you acknowledge the uncontrollable, you don't dwell on them. 5. Extract the lessons, the aha moment. For each why, especially the controllable ones, clearly articulate the lesson learned. What new insight did this setback provide? Write it down as a concise principle. For example, always validate market demand before building a full product, or never delegate critical communication without a clear feedback loop. These are the nuggets of wisdom you paid for with your experience. Failure is the laboratory of the wise. They do not just exit the building, they meticulously collect samples from every broken beaker. Thomas Edison, a master of this audit, famously stated, I have not failed 10,000 times. I have successfully found 10,000 ways that will not work. His success wasn't in avoiding failure, but in his relentless, systematic audit of each attempt, accumulating knowledge until he found the solution. This audit transforms nebulous disappointment into concrete, actionable intelligence. It turns a loss into a tuition payment for an invaluable education. Without it, you are doomed to repeat the same mistakes, never truly understanding why. You've detached emotionally. You've completed your forensic audit, meticulously extracting every lesson from the setback. Now it's time for the third powerful rule, the strategic pivot principle. Many people, after auditing a failure, mistakenly believe they must either abandon their original goal entirely or, conversely, stubbornly bash their head against the same wall, trying the exact same approach again, just harder. Both are strategic errors. A definite chief aim is fixed. The path to it, however, must be fluid and adaptable. A strategic pivot is the intelligent, agile adjustment of your approach, tactics, or even your immediate objective based on the undeniable data provided by your failure. It's not giving up on your definite purpose. It's finding a better, more informed way to reach it. It's about recognizing that while the initial route proved impassable, the destination remains viable, even more so with your new insights. Here's how to execute a strategic pivot. 1. Reevaluate your definite chief aim for clarity, not abandonment. Go back to your core purpose. Is it still truly what you desire? Your failure might have revealed hidden complexities or even a slightly different, more refined version of your original aim. This isn't about quitting. It's about ensuring your compass is still pointing to the true north. 2. Analyze your audit lessons for new paths. Look at the insights from your forensic failure audit Rule 2. What do they explicitly tell you not to do? More importantly, what do they implicitly suggest you should do, or what new opportunities do they reveal? Did you discover an underserved niche, a more efficient process, a different audience, a missing skill in your team? 3. Identify the smallest, most impactful new action. A pivot doesn't have to be a complete overhaul. Often, it's a subtle but significant shift. What is the single, most important adjustment you can make based on your lessons learned? Is it a change in product feature, a different marketing channel, a revised pricing model, a new partner, a personal skill acquisition? Focus on the leverage point that will yield the biggest return for the least effort, leveraging your new knowledge. 4. Test and learn, rapid iteration. Don't commit everything to the new pivot immediately. Design a small, controlled experiment to test your adjusted approach. This test and learn mentality minimizes risk and provides quick feedback, allowing for further micro pivots if needed. This iterative approach is how true mastery is achieved. Small, informed adjustments based on real-world data. The strategist understands that rigidity is the enemy of progress. The intelligent path bends, but it never breaks. Henry Ford, after the failure of his initial ventures, didn't abandon the idea of affordable transportation. He strategically pivoted his approach to production and pricing based on the lessons of his early struggles, eventually leading to the revolutionary assembly line and the Model T. His definite purpose remained, but his method evolved. This principle is about intelligent adaptation. It transforms a perceived dead end into a launching pad for a more effective, more refined, and ultimately more successful trajectory. You don't just learn from failure, you use it to redraw the map. You've detached from emotion, audited the facts, and strategically pivoted your path. Now, the fourth vital rule is about building the internal fortitude that ensures every setback, no matter how great, only makes you stronger. The compounding resilience habit. Many people see resilience as an inherent trait. Either you have it or you don't. But I tell you, resilience is a muscle, and like any muscle, it grows through consistent, deliberate exercise. Every time you face a disappointment, a failure, or a challenge, and you consciously choose to apply the first 3 rules and get back up, you are performing a repetition. And with each repetition, that muscle of resilience compounds, growing stronger and more capable. You are not measured by the number of times you fall, but by the unwavering certainty with which you rise. This habit isn't about avoiding pain. It's about enduring it, learning from it, and becoming fundamentally tougher because of it. It's the difference between being crushed by a weight and becoming stronger by lifting it. 1. Embrace the learning over losing mindset. After every setback, reinforce to yourself that this was a learning experience, not a definitive loss. Remind yourself that you gained invaluable data from your audit, an insight that others who haven't dared to try simply don't possess. This conscious reframing shifts your focus from perceived failure to actual growth. 2. Practice immediate re-engagement. The longer you dwell in the failure state, the harder it is to restart. Once you've completed your audit and identified your pivot, take immediate action, no matter how small. This could be sending an email, making a call, writing a single paragraph, or taking one step towards your new strategy. This immediate re-engagement breaks the paralysis of inaction and signals to your mind that you are still in control, still moving forward. 3. Celebrate the rise, not just the win. Acknowledge and appreciate your own ability to bounce back. This isn't about being arrogant. It's about building self-trust and reinforcing the positive feedback loop for your resilience muscle. Every time you stand up after a fall, you are proving your own strength. Recognize that effort. 4. Cultivate a no-victim stance. Resilience thrives on personal responsibility. Avoid blaming external circumstances or bad luck. While external factors exist, focus your energy on what you can control and learn from within yourself. This attitude keeps your power within your grasp, rather than giving it away to circumstances. The self-made men and women I studied were not immune to setbacks. They simply became masters of the comeback. They understood that life is a series of experiments. Some work, some don't. The ultimate success is found in the unwavering commitment to keep experimenting, keep learning, and keep building that internal strength with every attempt, every fall, and every rise. This compounding resilience becomes an invisible force, pushing you forward when others would quit. You've mastered emotional detachment, conducted your forensic audit, strategically pivoted, and built compounding resilience. Now, the fifth and final rule, which binds all the others together and makes your triumph inevitable, is the future-paced vision. After a setback, it's easy for the mind to get stuck in the past, rehashing what went wrong, dwelling on regret, or allowing the failure to define your identity. This backward gaze is a trap. It drains your energy, saps your motivation, and prevents you from seeing the vast opportunities that still lie ahead. The master of transformation does not deny the past, but refuses to be imprisoned by it. Their gaze is fixed firmly on the definite chief aim that awaits them. Future-paced vision means consciously, deliberately, and consistently pulling your focus away from the setback and projecting it forward onto your definite chief aim, your clear, burning desire for the future. It's about using the energy generated by your resilience not to wallow, but to propel yourself toward your predetermined success. Here's how to cultivate this powerful vision. 1. Re-anchor to your definite chief aim daily. Every morning and whenever a setback tries to pull you back, spend time vividly visualizing your definite purpose as if it has already been achieved. Feel the emotions of success. See the details. This isn't just wishful thinking. It's a mental exercise that programs your subconscious mind and keeps your ultimate goal at the forefront, overshadowing temporary defeats. 2. Use failure as fuel, not as a brake. Instead of letting the pain of failure stop you, consciously transmute that pain into resolve. Let it ignite a deeper determination to succeed. Tell yourself, this setback has only sharpened my resolve. It has given me the information I needed to pursue my purpose with even greater precision. 3. Focus on the next action, not the past outcome. With your vision clearly in mind, immediately shift your attention to the very next strategic action required to move towards it, leveraging the lessons from your audit and pivot. The past is for learning, not for living. The future is built one present action at a time. 4. Surround yourself with forward-looking influences. Actively seek out positive mental attitudes, inspiring stories of triumph over adversity, and individuals who embody resilience and future focus. Avoid those who dwell on negativity or reinforce a victim mentality. Your environment shapes your vision. Your definite chief aim is a magnet. It pulls you through every obstacle, provided you keep it in clear sight. I saw this in every Titan I studied. They faced moments when their ventures seemed utterly doomed, but their unwavering vision of what they would achieve, a vision that transcended temporary defeat, pulled them forward. They did not allow the memory of a fall to obscure the summit they were climbing towards. This future-paced vision ensures that no failure is ever final. It ensures that every single setback, every stumble, every deviation merely strengthens your resolve and refines your path to the inevitable realization of your definite chief aim. We have now journeyed through the 5 essential rules that transform failure from a feared enemy into your most powerful ally. 1. The emotional detachment principle, creating the mental space to analyze, not just react. 2. The forensic failure audit, systematically extracting every valuable lesson. 3. The strategic pivot principle, intelligently adjusting your course towards your aim. 4. The compounding resilience habit, building unbreakable inner strength with every setback overcome. 5. The future-paced vision, keeping your definite chief aim as the unwavering magnet pulling you forward. Understand this truth. There is no such thing as permanent failure for the individual who masters these principles. The only true failure is the failure to learn, and the failure to rise. Every great achievement, every lasting fortune, every significant invention in history was forged not in the absence of setbacks, but directly through them. The giants of industry I studied, Carnegie, Edison, Ford, didn't just overcome obstacles, they integrated them into their very being, using them as stepping stones to higher ground. They understood that the universe often tests your definite purpose. It throws challenges not to defeat you, but to refine your methods, forcing you to find a better way, strengthen your resolve, building the inner muscle you need for bigger tests, clarify your vision, stripping away what is inessential and revealing your true aim. Your relationship with failure dictates your ultimate destiny. If you fear it, it will paralyze you. If you resent it, it will embitter you. But if you embrace it as a relentless teacher and a powerful catalyst, it will make you unstoppable. You are not defined by the falls you take. You are defined by the unwavering certainty with which you choose to stand back up, wiser and stronger. This mastery isn't a one-time event. It's a lifelong practice. Every time you apply these 5 rules, you are rewiring your brain, shifting from a fear-based reaction to a growth-oriented response, building character, developing grit, wisdom, and an inner calm that few possess, accelerating your progress, turning every misstep into a direct lesson that propels you faster towards your goals. So I urge you, look at any past failures you carry. Stop seeing them as burdens. Begin today to see them as unpaid tuition for invaluable lessons. Approach your next challenge with the knowledge that should you stumble, you now possess the blueprint to turn that fall into a launch pad. This is your ultimate comeback strategy. This is how you don't just win. This is how you become a master of your own destiny, capable of transforming any setback into your biggest, most undeniable win. Remember, your success begins the moment you decide to act.